What is up, guys? How's everybody doing? Welcome back to the channel. Hopefully you guys are subscribed. Today's guest is Sam Bencheghib. On the
Thank
previous,
you for having me.
thank you for joining me actually on this beautiful weather in New York City. I thought it was gonna rain like
I
crazy
know, we got
today.
lucky here in the heart of Soho.
Heart of Soho. So, by the way, thanks to Abe for filming this, for showing up. By the way, I had two videographers today booked, and both of them got canceled. Like, one of them had wedding to shoot, and the other one's just like, I'm not feeling it. I'm like, what do you mean, bro?
The hustle of a freelancer.
Exactly. So, thanks to Gabe for showing up, and we caught like amazing content. To be honestly, I really liked your story where you came from, and that was the reason I reached out. You know, I don't reach out. I see a lot of people try to like push their niches in social media just to like get fame or clout, whatever you're trying to say. But whatever you're doing is so wholesome that it really like inspired me. I'm like I need to make a content with them. Like I need to reach out and ask a story. Like where did this inspiration came from? So if you guys don't know, Sam lived in Indonesia. He grew up in Indonesia. And you said you were born in France, right?
Yeah, French, but grew up in Indonesia.
Uh-huh. And he basically, at the age of 12, realized there's so much plastic waste in Indonesia that comes from rivers, and he started cleaning up. And he's been in that journey with his siblings for that many
For 10 years,
for 10 years.
It started back in 2009, so 2020. It's been, we just celebrated our 10-year anniversary in October.
Wow.
Of
Okay.
working, fighting, on the front lines, trying to get plastic pollution on front page news, just because it is a really serious problem. And for example, something that I wake up to every day that keeps me motivated and drives me to do what I do every day is the statistic that by the year 2050,
2050. Okay.
there's going to be more plastic in the ocean than fish.
Wow.
So that's 30 years away.
That's 30 years
and
away. That's not too far.
We're
Yeah.
really on a countdown.
Yeah.
That we need to learn to live more sustainably and to reduce our use of plastic.
Okay.
And so, that's what I wake up to every day, thinking in my head, what can I do today that raises awareness, educates people, and hopefully a step closer towards a world without plastic pollution.
I see. So, just to get back, like on like your life, like where were you born initially? Like you said, France.
Yeah, so I was born in France, in
Paris. Okay.
And I moved to Bali in Indonesia when I was 7. So that was in 2005.
Okay.
And my brother at the time was 9. My sister is 12. So we're very very close in age.
Okay.
And we're just very very close in general. Like we're best friends.
I see.
And so we've always since 2009, 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Started cleaning the beaches when I was 12 because we saw that it was visual. It was there. It was in
there.
our faces.
Okay.
And we saw it every single day. When we
So
went
the
to beach.
content we see about Bali all the time is beautiful beaches, waterfalls.
Exactly.
But that's not always the case, right?
No, that's not always the case. And
Okay.
I think a lot of times you need to go there to see for yourself. And this is not just Bali. Bali is one example
Okay.
of, hundreds of thousands of places around the world where
Yeah.
plastic pollution has affected those places
Okay.
significantly.
Okay.
Bali is just one of those places. And
Alright.
it just happens to be where I grew up. And, seeing the impacts of climate change, the impacts of plastic pollution on a daily
Yeah.
basis,
Uh-huh.
drove us to start Make a Change World, which
Okay.
is now an environmental organization
Uh-huh.
that highlights the stories of unsung heroes, of
Yeah.
people doing amazing things around the world.
Okay.
So we have a media company, a production company that does videos. We also believe that no idea is crazy enough to protect our planet. So
Yeah.
we try to come up with the craziest ideas, like running across the U.S.
That's one of them, right? Like from New York City, guys, from New York City to all the way to California, from Atlantic Ocean to Pacific Ocean.
Ocean to ocean.
Ocean to ocean, right? that was your idea of doing it. And that's pretty insane. Like, honestly, whatever you said was pretty right. Like, no idea is crazy enough to bring an attention to, like, plastic waste. When I heard that story, I'm like, yo, like behind the head, like everybody, like not everybody, but like for me, for example, I had that dream, like, you know what, I'll do that maybe one day. And then you just like think of like how crazy of an idea it is, and you just keep waking up to this idea you want to do, but it's too far-fetched. It's too big. You know what I mean? It's like climbing a Mount Everest, basically.
No, it's similar. And I think,
Similar, yeah.
in the running world, running across the U.S. is actually something that has been done 300 times. So
It's been done 300
So
times.
300, around 300, maybe 350 people have run across the U.S.
Wow.
So it's a very small niche.
Yeah.
3,000 more people
Yeah.
have climbed Mount Everest
Okay.
than have run across the U.S. To give you a perspective of how crazy it is.
No way.
So
That's insane.
it's running across the United
Wow.
States is by no means the main reason why that is. I think is not because it's impossible, because it
Yeah.
is possible.
Yeah.
It's more because it takes a really long
A
time.
really long time.
It took me 191 days.
So what did it take others? Like, what's the average time for the others?
I guess it's different for everybody, right?
Yeah.
Some people walk across America. So like,
Uh-huh.
do you know Mike Posner, the guy who
I've heard of
he's
him.
a
but
famous singer,
Okay, yeah.
musician.
yeah,
Um,
definitely.
He walked across America. It took him 7 or 8 months.
Wow.
The world record is this insane ultra runner who did it in 46 days.
46 days.
So he was running 72 miles a day.
No way. Is that even possible?
It is, according to him. I mean, it's not even.
That's like how many? Like
proved.
that's like almost 3 marathons a day.
3 marathons a day.
That's insane.
So that's the world record. But he's significantly, probably the best runner out there.
Yeah.
And also I mean, I look up to him. Like, it's obviously an incredible physical.
And how many miles were you doing a day? Like, were you averaging out?
I was averaging 23 miles a day.
So
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 almost a
26.2 is the marathon. So almost a marathon a day.
So it was is pretty much almost 6 marathons a week.
Did you have any days off, or you just like keep going?
One. So I didn't actually. It averages out to 1 day a week where I didn't run because I
Okay.
ran 145 days and
Okay.
my whole thing was 191 days.
Okay.
So at times, towards the end, I ran for 30 days in a row
Wow.
because I was on crunch time, and I had to get to LA by February 1st.
So I have a question: is the runner's high a thing,
It
or
is
is
a
that a
thing.
myth? Or is that a myth?
No, it is a thing. It is a thing.
It is a thing.
I mean, especially when you're running 23 miles a day.
Yeah.
I would get caught up in, and I don't know how much of a, I mean, when you perceive a runner's high, I don't know what you think of that.
You just like your body's in cruise control,
Yeah, I
right?
mean,
and
that's-
and then you just like keep going, and you don't feel any pain, right?
Right.
And then you just keep going.
Especially
like,
because it's so repetitive. Running is such
Yeah.
a repetitive sport.
yeah.
And
And you catch the flow. That's what I mean. You know what I mean?
You tend to sometimes just forget that you're running.
Exactly. That's
Yeah,
that's what
that
I mean.
does happen. And sometimes you also, you look at your watch and you're like, oh, I've been running for an hour. That does happen sometimes.
Yeah. The furthest I ran was like 13.1 miles, I
Okay,
think.
a half marathon.
A half marathon, and I got the runner's high, obviously, and it came about like mile 7, mile 8, I think.
Okay.
And I was like, all right, this feels good. But the whole next week, I was like dying. I'm like, oh my God, my legs are hurting.
So imagine running twice that.
Yeah. Every
and
day.
Then sit there for 145 days.
And how much were you weighing, like, after the whole thing? Like,
So I actually lost 30 pounds
30 pounds.
on my from start to finish.
And your diet? Like, how's your diet?
So I'm now vegetarian
Okay.
because of my run
Uh-huh.
and well for many reasons, but I'm vegetarian because mainly for environmental reasons. You know,
Okay.
there's going to be 10 billion people on this planet very soon, and there's just no way that we can sustain that amount of people with our current eating habits.
I see,
And
yeah.
by that I mean, the amount of meat we're eating, the amount of land that is needed to grow cattle.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm vegetarian now, but when I was actually running across the U.S., I ate anything and everything because
Anything
I
and
was
everything.
losing 7,000 calories a day, and I'm
Yeah,
a
I
pretty
can
small
imagine.
guy, and I don't have
Yeah.
a big body, so I needed to gain weight, but
I
I
see.
still lost. So at the end of my run, I was like a skinny skeleton,
Yeah.
skin and bones.
I saw the video with Brian Serhan, and then you ended up gaining 20 pounds? Like, after you
yeah,
came
so so that video was shot in June
Okay.
when I moved into that apartment.
Okay.
And I finished in February, so from February to June, probably gained a lot of weight just because I was really just skin and bones. So
Okay.
just eating normal again, not losing that many calories.
All right. So I really wanted to ask, like, the most craziest stories in Indonesia while cleaning plastic waste. Like, while cleaning plastic waste, did you have like any crazy stories, like with authority or like anyone, like any of the citizens in Indonesia?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think that no crazy story really has happened to me.
Okay.
But well, in a sense that like a negative outcome has come of it. But
Yeah.
crazy things.
No, negative or positive.
Right.
It's
So
like-
crazy things have happened on a positive note.
Okay.
So one thing that we did 3 years ago
Mhm.
was we Googled most polluted river in the world, and that river, you know, the first thing that showed up was the Tritarum River in
Okay.
Indonesia. And you know, growing up in Indonesia, for me that was my backyard.
Okay.
So with my brother, we thought, how can we, you know, raise awareness about the state of this waterway?
Uh-huh.
28 million people rely on this water to live. So that, you know,
Okay.
they wash themselves in this river.
Oh wow.
They sometimes use that water, boil it, and use that to cook.
Really wash and then even like use the water for
and
ingestion.
And so, you know, we
Okay.
thought, how can we raise awareness about the state of this waterway, because it's so incredibly toxic.
Yeah.
Not only is it filled with trash, it's almost like a landfill
Yeah.
in terms of the amount of trash on it, but also because Bandung, which is the city in Indonesia that this river starts,
Uh-huh.
is the textile capital of the world. And by that I mean a lot of companies like the Gaps, the H&Ms of the world have
Uh-huh.
factories over there
Yeah.
where they dye all their clothes.
And then dump the waste
And
into.
then they dump all the toxic chemicals,
Chemicals.
like the dyes, the blue
Yeah.
dyes, the red dyes in the water.
Oh
So
wow.
not only is it very, very polluted in terms of waste, plastic, even sewage,
Okay.
but also toxic chemicals like dyes and things like that.
So, do you think like we should hold brands accountable for their for the waste that they're creating?
I mean, 100%. I think that that's one thing that we're doing with Make a Change World is really collecting data
Yeah.
to you know, go back to these brands and show the world data that shows that these companies, you know, are responsible for so much of the waste polluting the earth.
I
But
see.
sorry, to go back to the crazy idea,
Yeah.
you know, this river, very polluted. So
Yeah.
we decided to go down this river
Uh huh.
on 2 kayaks we built out of 300 plastic bottles each.
300 plastic bags each.
Plastic bottles.
Plastic bottles each.
So we
Okay.
built this kayak, you know, out of plastic bottles.
Okay.
Went down the river for 2 weeks.
Mhm.
And with my brother, we filmed the expedition. We highlighted the stories of those living in the
In the area,
Tritarum and the,
okay.
you know, the state of their lives and how they're affected by the pollution.
Okay.
And also sharing the stories of those who are trying to clean it up. So stories of hope and change as opposed to, you know, just showing the problem.
Okay.
We went down this river and we released this video on Facebook.
Mhm.
And, you know, Indonesia is the biggest user of Facebook in the world.
Oh yeah, I've heard. Yeah.
So we released the video and like overnight we were so impressed to see that it got 50 million views.
Wow.
And, you know, from that, views are great, but, you know, more than that, the impact that created, we managed to get that video seen by the Indonesian president, who then invited us back to the river 4 months later
Okay.
after going down the river. And
So did you guys actually ended up like meeting with the president?
yes, we met with the president. We had a, you know, an exclusive 10-minute interview with him,
Okay.
and he said, you know, as a result of your video, we're going to I'm going to hire 7,000 military soldiers
Okay.
to clean this river for the next 7 years. And so, you know, that, you know, is definitely crazy. Like the
Yeah.
outcome from coming up with an idea, you know, as an 18-year-old at the time, my brother was 20,
Yeah.
to then going down this river. It's such a simple idea, you know, to go down a river on the same materials that pollute it,
Yeah.
make a film, because we have to use the tools available at our fingertips. You know, for
Mhm.
us, it's like a camera, or
Exactly,
a
yeah.
microphone, and then social media.
I think this is like the most powerful tool in the world right now, the camera.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
you know,
to bring
throughout
it-
history,
bring it, yeah.
the camera has been this amazing weapon for
Mhm.
change.
Yeah.
And so we use that to our advantage, and we really managed to see an outcome come out of that, which
Okay.
is now this river is being cleaned up by the Indonesian military,
Wow.
which is, you
I
know,
see.
incredible.
So you guys created this huge movement right now. So 70,000 people are
7,000
7,000.
Right.
7,000 people are cleaning it. Is it daily or weekly?
daily.
Daily.
For
Wow.
7 years, and we're now
For
actually
7 years.
celebrating the halfway points. So this was in February of 2018.
Okay.
So this coming February of 2021
Mm-hmm.
will be the halfway points of the cleanup.
Okay.
And we're seeing massive, drastic improvements of the quality of the water on the
This
Tritarum.
is amazing. This is amazing. I'm really amazed by this story. You guys created a huge change. Like I wish for everyone to be like as bright as you guys are to bring this like thing up into the surface and like, hey, we have a problem here. Let's fix it, right? I don't think
there's
many
also,
people
you
will
know,
be
a way that you can go about that, which is not just showing the problem, but it's more
taking action.
right. And you know, I think we have so much. A lot of times, people I think look at a problem like plastic pollution, and it's so overwhelming.
Yeah.
And so they kind of think that someone else is going to do it. And you know,
Oh yeah, this is. I think I've had this kind of mindset like for a while. Especially living in New York City, you see like the sanitation go around like, I don't know, every couple of days. You know, and you're like, you know what, they'll clean it up. It's fine. But then you realize like at the times like COVID, like we're getting budget cuts, and then it's up to our own hands to clean up the streets, right? And that's where I think people should change their way of thinking.
Yeah. I think what's important is that it really doesn't matter how small of a step you take. I think every individual can have a difference.
Yeah.
And so feeling that sense of empowerment in the sense that everyone can make a difference is important.
I see. So what was your journey coming to America like? How did you end up coming to America and running across New York to California? Was this all planned, like with your siblings? Like, where did all of this begin, you know?
Sure. Well, so I moved to the U.S. to go to school here, to go to university.
Okay.
So I went to university in Lehigh University in Pennsylvania.
Okay.
And I chose that university, you know, because I played tennis. So I'm a big tennis player.
Okay. That's great.
And so I played, you know, D1 college tennis. And then I graduated in 2019.
All right.
And at the time, you know, I was working part-time with my siblings, my brother Gary, who lives in Bali, my sister Kelly, who lives in France.
Okay.
On Make It Change World. And so the Chitaram expedition was my sophomore year. We did another expedition my junior year where we built a boat out of recycled wood. And we went around Bali to do microplastic tests and really understand how much plastic is in Bali's ocean and rivers. Or sorry, in Bali's ocean. And then I graduated and I thought to myself, what can I do that's the craziest thing that I can come up with here in the U.S.?
Okay.
And I thought, why not just run, you know, across the entire country, 3,000 miles, with shoes that are made out of recycled or upcycled plastic bottles.
That's amazing. Okay, question. Who did you tell that story to? Like, who did you pitch that idea to first?
So the funny story is I came up with this story, this idea, and I remember this day so clearly.
Yeah.
January 8th, 2019.
Okay.
I was tanning on my surfboard in my swimming pool at home in my parents' house.
Okay.
So they have a pool, and I was just like on my surfboard, like, lying down. And I was trying to think, like, what's the craziest thing that I can do when I go back to the U.S. and I graduate in May?
Yeah.
I have 5 months. Like, let me try to come up with a crazy campaign. And I remember just, like, jumping off my surfboard, and I was like, Mom, I have a crazy idea. She's like, what is it? And I'm like, well, do you think I can run across America? And the amazing thing, and that's why, like, I'm so close to my family and so grateful to my parents, because my mom never said no. She was like, it won't be easy. But she didn't say, like, you can't do it.
You can't do it. Yeah. She actually agreed, like, it's a crazy idea, but you could do it, you know?
And I think, you know, also just knowing myself and knowing my brother and my sister, and when we set a challenge for ourselves, we try to do everything we can to accomplish it. And there's really no reason you can't do something that you set your mind to.
Okay.
And I think when you believe something strong enough, nothing is gonna come in between you and achieving that goal.
Exactly. I believe the same thing. Yep.
So that was day one, and, you know, for 5 months, every single day I woke up, and that was my mission, is like planning this trip, which is an incredibly difficult logistical thing is a nightmare, because one, you have, you know, to plan your routes, which is obviously a big one. You have to train physically, mentally. A big part of my run wasn't just running, but it was outreach. So I would speak to schools, I would meet mayors, I met 2 state governors.
Wow.
I spoke at museums, I spoke at businesses, restaurants. And so logistically, like, when I had to plan my meeting with the governor of Colorado, Jared Polis,
and
I started my run, you know, meeting him on November 15th, starting in July 26th. I had to be in Denver that day.
And you have to, like, oh my God,
you know, like,
plan the whole every single day where I'm supposed to run, where I'm supposed to take a rest, and then where I'm supposed to be in the next day in the city.
So if you miss one day, or you're like, all right, today I'm tired, I'm gonna skip.
You can't just you can't just fly out to a different city, because that will ruin the purpose.
Right.
Or take the car. You know what? Let's just cheat this. We'll go to Denver or, like, Colorado just to meet them. Yeah, I get the whole point. Wow. So did you make it on the day, like on November 4th? You said 14th?
Yeah, I did. I think I was really.
So that's everything so calculated.
It was very, very calculated.
Wow.
And it's, you know, with a trip like this, if you're trying to have outreach and have impact, you almost need to you know.
That's amazing.
But it's also, I guess, a driving force and a sense of motivation, because like I said, if you're down 5 miles, the next morning you start and you're an hour behind.
Exactly.
And then 5
Yeah.
miles added to 24 means 29.
Yeah.
And then obviously you're gonna be more tired the day after that. So
I
it's
see.
like there was something inside of me, like a little match under me that if I didn't make it, it's like that match would get turned on. It's like, all right, Sam, 5 more miles.
Exactly. So you had that goalpost and you were just like heading towards it, and that goalpost was November 14th.
Right. Or like for me, it was actually every small milestone. Like I would actually never think about LA.
Yeah.
Because otherwise I think I would have just burnt out.
Yeah.
Because for 6 months, like my whole life was running 6 days a week, almost a marathon a day.
Yeah.
And meeting, like people every single day. Like I spoke to 10,000 people on my journey.
Okay.
And
you met 10,000 people on your journey.
10,000 people face to face, just like speaking to them about the issue.
I see.
But so I would always think about small increments and the next big milestone. For me, it was every single day I woke up, let's run 5 miles. After that, let's do another 5 miles. And really never think about the next day or the next week, but really the end of that day.
Any highlight of the moments where you ran across America?
There's so many.
There's so many. Okay, just say the couple of them that were like really important to you.
Yeah. So something that really struck out to me while running was the generosity of people along the way. It was so incredible and heartwarming to see so many people stop on the side of the highway and ask me if I was okay and if I needed help, because they probably were like, who is this crazy white guy running on the side of the highway?
Exactly. Yeah.
And so many people would stop and ask me if I was okay, if I needed help, and I would tell them what I was doing.
Yeah. And they would be amazed, right?
In return, so many people invited me into their homes to have dinner with their families, to shower in their houses, and it was so incredible to see that sense of community, even though they didn't know who I was. Kansas, the state of Kansas, by far the most amount of generous people I've met on my journey, just because every day someone would stop and ask me if I needed help. It was incredible. Someone gave me a jacket once.
Wow.
It was like 30 degrees Fahrenheit, so it was freezing, and it was 6 p.m. and the sun was setting.
Yeah.
And he pulled up and he said, "Hey man, like what are you doing? It's freezing out."
Yeah.
There's like no town. Like the nearest town is 20 miles away. Like,
wow.
What are you doing running? And I told him, like, I'm running and I'm meeting up with my friend who's driving an RV. He's 5 miles ahead. Yeah. And he literally took off his jacket. Yeah. And he gave it to me.
That's amazing.
It was insane.
That was in Kansas?
Kansas.
All right.
Sean.
Wow. Sean. Shout out to Sean. My God, yeah. I mean, I'm mind blown by whatever you're telling me. And obviously, like, those people meeting like someone like you is a special moment for them, right? Because I would be mind blown too. Because I made this run from south of Brooklyn to like Coney Island.
Okay.
And then I think I got my feet cut up in the beach or something, and I don't want to run back because I didn't bring my wallet, I didn't bring anything. Right. And I think I was like 17 years old. And I got into the train station. I told the lady, I was like, hey, I ran from South Brooklyn to all the way here, and like my feet are bleeding. Like I can't run, like, can you let me in? And then she's like, she was like pretty big, and she was like, are you crazy? Who you lying to? You ran all the way from there? And I'm like, yeah, I did. Like, and then you did this whole thing, and then which is like at the crazy level. You know what I mean? That lady didn't believe that I ran from like South Brooklyn to like Coney Island. Yeah, I mean not South Brooklyn, somewhere like around Kensington to Coney Island, and they shouldn't believe that I ran that far. And then thinking about you, I'm like, oh my God, this is crazy. And then I ended up like running. You ran back? I ran back. Yeah. Damn. It wasn't a big deal, but
a bad next day for your feet.
Exactly, but I mean, I did not have choice back then. I was like only 17. Like, I was doing a lot of fitness and stuff. And amazing. So what? Like, how did the Ryan Serhant thing came to surface? Because I discovered you through Ryan's content, and I saw that like you were running, and like how many days were you out from like finishing the journey you had to California?
So Ryan Serhant was giving this free apartments in New York City for a period of 12 months for someone to move to New York City, live rent free. Yeah. And I was in the middle of Arizona which was for me state number 12 out of 13. So I was almost there.
Okay.
And this was actually this time last year, and I believe they're doing it again. So they're actually doing.
So
another
Ryan
video.
Serhant is doing that again. Yeah. Okay.
But so it was right around this time last year that he had posted a video on his YouTube saying, "I'm giving away a free apartment in New York City for 12 months."
Yeah.
And I was having breakfast one day at 6 a.m.
Yeah.
And I was on my phone in my RV
Yeah.
before my run, and I was like, "Wow, this." I would like. I need to apply to this because this would, this would change my life. Like this
Yeah.
would be an amazing opportunity for me to move to New York. At the time, I wasn't really sure where I wanted to live, but New York's always been on my radar, especially
Exactly.
for
Yeah.
the work that we do. You know, environments and media. New York's just the hub.
The
for
hub
that.
for that. Yeah.
So I applied, and in my head, I was like, "There's no way I'm gonna win. There's no
Yeah.
way." Like Casey Neistat's part of this campaign. Dude with Sign is part of this campaign.
Yeah.
So I literally interviewed myself in the middle of the Arizona desert. I set a tripod with a camera.
Uh-huh.
I'm like, "Hey guys, like my name's Sam. I'm running across the U.S. and
Yeah.
I ran a marathon today, and like I'm almost in LA, and I finished on February 1st. And I would love to come to New York and build Make a Change World or help grow Make a Change World by being in New York."
Wow.
And then I'm running on Highway 62 in California. I think it was like early January.
Mhm.
3 weeks after I applied, and I'm on mile 15.
Yeah.
And I see a guy in a white sweater holding a cardboard sign above his head, and it's Dude with Sign.
Yeah. It's a dude.
And it says, "Which way to NYC?" And then he's like,
Yeah.
"Hey, Sam." And then he turns around. He's like, "You win."
So you had no clue that they were.
I had no idea.
No way.
And then Ryan Serhant comes out of the car. He's like, "Bro, you're coming to New York." I'm like, "What?"
what? What a surprise.
Absolutely insane surprise. Also, I was about
Yeah.
to finish my run. I was like a week out from running across the U.S.
So like nothing was set up, right? So you guys just met there.
No idea they were coming.
No idea you guys.
Zero idea. I had no expectations.
So did you like get back to running right after that
It
interview,
was so funny. I
or did you guys grab drinks like?
no. Celebrate? No. Dude, it was so funny. He came out. We spent
Yeah.
like an hour. He just told me like pretty much what was gonna go down.
Yeah.
And like imagine you're about to finish a run that you've been doing for 6 months,
Yeah.
and you don't really know what you're gonna do after the run. Like
Okay.
I knew I would work with Make a Change World 100%.
Okay.
Knew I would work with my brother and sister. I wanted to come to New York, probably find a place in Brooklyn. You know,
Yeah.
try to make it.
Yeah.
But you're about to finish your run, and then you just find out that you're about to live there for free.
Exactly.
is so cool.
That is so cool. Yeah.
So no, actually, we just filmed for an hour and talked, and then I had to go and run 5 more miles.
5 more miles.
So I was all right, bye guys. Thank you.
That's-
See you in New York.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and so I moved on June 1st,
Uh-huh.
and so it's December 4th today.
Yeah, December 4th.
So December 1st, so on Tuesday
Yeah.
was the 6-month halfway point.
Okay.
So I've been here for 6 months.
Wow.
Obviously loving it. It's an amazing city.
You love New York City?
Yeah, no, it's amazing. And I mean,
Yeah.
you lived here.
I lived here for 15 years. Yeah, and now I'm like basically in and out of New York City
Right.
because I'm creating content like in different states mostly, and I'm like working in different states, obviously as a freelancer, and I run my own company. I love New York City, but since COVID happened, wait, so you moved this year, 2020?
June 1st, yeah.
Okay, June
So
1st. So that's like during COVID.
Heart of the pandemic. Yeah.
Heart of the pandemic.
Weird time to move for sure. But
It's
you
a
know,
very weird time to move to New York City because, obviously, I feel like life has drastically changed in New York City from whatever used to be. Like I don't like the city changed. Like definitely, I barely know the city anymore.
I know, but I mean,
You know
I
what I
think
mean?
so. You know, I definitely got unlucky with that. I got
Yeah.
lucky in the sense that I finished my run before the pandemic. which was
Exactly, it's
amazing.
amazing. Yeah,
But yeah, weird to move here, you know, in June. But at the same time, everyone has to deal with this. And
exactly. Yeah.
It's very much a transitional year for a lot of us.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Being here in New York, you know, although I couldn't necessarily, you know, accomplish all the things that I wanted to do,
Mhm.
it's still a great time to reflect on how we can Make a Change to the next level, and you know and I think this year people are realizing how important sustainability is.
Yeah.
You know,
We're seeing a video where when during pandemic, like I think how can I say, there is a polluted city in China, and it was so like foggy all the time because of the pollution and stuff. And when everything was shut down and the city came back to life, you could see
Right.
regular colors. There's no like fogginess in the city, and I definitely think like it really brought a light to this issue that we have
Yeah, no, for sure, for sure.
in our ecosystem. Yeah. Well, anything else that we should cover? What do you think?
No, but I mean, I guess we we we're super excited to be in New York. New York's an amazing city for
What I believe about New York City right now, I think these are the hard times in New York, and especially if you move in during these times and face the moments and take the opportunity that you have, it would be so much better in the future.
right. No, for sure.
Like, for example, I think Casey Neistat, when the 9/11 happened, he didn't leave the city. He was like, you know what? I'm just going to stay here, grind it off, eat it up, like, because everyone's just, like, fleeing the city, just like as of right now. And he stayed here for, like, I don't know, till 2016 or something. And he found the opportunities that were there in New York City
Yeah.
when everyone had left. you
Yeah,
know?
I mean, I think.
So I think like the opportunity is definitely big in this in big cities, not just New York. I think Chicago or like LA and stuff. But I think it's just a matter of time when we just like snap back to
And
normal.
I think that these circumstances and these unfortunate events make us stronger. And I
Yeah.
think everyone's gonna come out of it a lot more, I guess, stronger, and it's like almost building like a callus, like now that we're coming out of this all together,
Mhm.
then we're gonna live, make life, like try to make the most out of life, because we're
Exactly,
realizing how
yeah.
important it is in moments like these.
Yep. I mean, it was definitely a huge lesson for me, 2020. I got wiser. I knew what my priorities were. And it's just, I don't know, like maybe during the hard times, the picture becomes more clear. When life gets easier, you just like, it's kind of like not so clear,
Yeah, you realize what matters.
what matters, yeah. And like doing this type of content for me, bringing a light to the situation, and especially interviewing people like you, has become like really important for me, because I don't meet wholesome people all the time, and I hope the world has more people like you.
Thank you.
And yeah, at the end of the day, just I want to do good to the world, bring this issue up to the surface to basically fix it. And obviously, you're doing an amazing job. And thanks for like being on the podcast, sharing your story, and whatever you're doing with Make Change and with your siblings. I hope you will gain more traction, and more people are gonna follow up to your steps and bring a change in our earth.
No,
right?
thank you so much.
Yeah.
I think one thing I didn't mention, but is like really one of our big projects right now is cleaning rivers.
Cleaning rivers.
And so I think I mentioned it, but 90% of plastic in the ocean
Yeah.
comes from rivers.
Uh-huh.
And so a big project that we're working on right now is we've developed this system, like this barrier that we're implementing in rivers
Mm-hmm.
to stop the flow of plastic into the ocean.
I see.
And so our goal is to have, we're on track to have 25 of these barriers in 25 different rivers by the end of this year, and 100 barriers in 100 rivers by the end of next year. And we're collecting, hundreds of pounds of plastic a day.
Wow.
Like last week, we collected 10 tons of plastic from rivers in Bali.
Just last week. 10 tons.
10 tons. So we're collecting a massive amount of plastic.
Yeah.
So that's exciting in terms of
And they're all going to recycling centers, right?
right. So right now we're partnered with a bunch of different local groups and companies who are
Yeah.
recycling our waste.
Mhm.
So based on the waste that we're finding cool collaborations. So for example, with sandals, we're turning sandals into sandals again with this company called Indosole.
Mhm.
With hard plastics, we're collaborating with this company who are making hats.
I see.
And then with bottles, we're turning them into bottles. And then the soft plastics, we're like thinking about converting that into fuel.
I see.
So yeah, I mean that's
That's amazing. I have a question. So, how bad is the East River? How do you think?
That is the East River.
Yeah. In terms of toxicity, because like, I don't know if you know, there was a girl that jumped into the East River on TikTok, and that story blew up during the summer.
No way, I didn't see that.
You didn't see that?
No.
Okay.
I mean, it's bad. It's bad for sure.
I did that once too. Like
You jumped into the East River?
I jumped into the East
the
River.
Hudson's bad too.
Yeah, I think it's the Hudson or the East
The
River.
East is probably.
It's right by the Battery Park in the south.
Oh, so that's probably the Hudson. Well,
That's
I mean,
the Hudson, yeah.
Battery Park's in the south, so both rivers.
Yeah, both rivers
What's
are coming
interesting is
together.
the East River is actually not a river.
Yeah,
Did you know that?
it's not a river.
So the Hudson is a river, but
Yeah,
the East River is actually an estuary. And what happens is when you look at a map,
yeah,
the East River feeds in from the south of Manhattan,
yeah.
and then it goes around Long Island, and then it goes
Yeah.
back to the ocean. So it actually doesn't feed off like into a mountain, which is the
Oh,
definition of a river.
okay.
But it's very, very toxic. Like a lot of sewage overflow.
Oh my
New York
god.
City, obviously because the sewage system is so old in the city,
Yeah.
a lot of it overflows into the East River, into the Hudson. There's hundreds of years of toxic industrial waste that has been accumulating over the years in the
Yeah.
East River. So it's pretty nasty river.
I think I got lucky with that, right? I'm still like alive.
You're gonna grow
It's been
a third year one day.
No, it's been over a year, so it was 2019. Well, guys, I think we covered everything,
Cool.
right? Well, guys, thank you for watching our podcast with Sam Bencheghib. I will link all of his information down below in the description. Thanks for watching, viewing this content. Share it with your friends and family. I hope you guys to see in the next podcast. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. And just tap on the ring bell so you guys are updated all the time. Thanks for
Awesome. Thank you for having me.
thank you for having me for this interview. All right.
Cool.
Take care, guys. Have
Bye.
a good one. Bye.